Somebody, I like these young people. I like these young people who are a generation after mine. They usually tell me a lot of things. I just met one who told me that he has noticed that other tribes, when they went to Raila's grave, they took their cattle. The Kalenjins took their cattle. The Luhyas took their cattle. The Luos took their cattle. If you are near Bondo, tafuta tu ugali. Tafuta tu ugali, mboga ni mingi. But he noticed that Kikuyu elders did not take their cattle. And he was wondering. So the purpose of recording this is to inform the people that it was not in bad faith. It was not in bad faith. And I wanted to explain. You see, there is this issue of culture. When two cultures meet, usually there are three ways. When two cultures meet, there are three ways. You can either choose to be, there are four ways. You can either choose to follow the culture of the host, or you can follow the culture of the guest, or you can combine the cultures, the two cultures, where they agree and where you pick up and come up with a joint culture, which is half this, half that. So you can have a culture for this tribe, or you can have a culture for this tribe, or you can improvise a culture combining the two in the way that is comfortable to the two. There is where there are similarities, you adapt it straight. Where there is no where there are dissimilarities, you say, okay, we will borrow from here and we will borrow from that, put them together, forward them, such and such things. So you find that you mix that culture and you come up with that. Or fourth, you ignore the two cultures and come up with a modern culture or a religious culture. Can come up with a modern day culture, or you can come up with a religious culture, especially you could be a Mwengere, you could do whatever, but when it comes to the culture, if you become a Muslim, your Mwengere dies and then you'll just be buried like a Muslim. So I think we understand the four instances. But here, there's a clash. There's a clash in Kikuyu culture and Luo culture. So the reason why Kikuyus didn't take cattle there, I'll explain, but it is something to do with the cultures being different, and then choosing one of the four options. And I said the four options of either adapting Luo culture during the visit, or adapting Kikuyu culture, or adapting Luo Kikuyu chapter, or even adapting a more common, which is neither Kikuyu nor Luo. Before I come to the Kikuyu tradition, of which I'm heavily involved, let me start with the Kalenjin tradition. Kalenjins, I made to understand, took their cattle. When we start with the Kalenjin, I do not have an iota of idea about cattle during the funeral. So I have no idea. Then we come to Luhya culture. Luhya culture. In the Luhya culture, a person of a certain, no, not even a person of a certain age, a dead person, an animal had to be killed. An animal had to be killed, for a very simple reason. Very many young people will be hearing it for the first time, even those who are Luhya. The origin of Luhya slaughtering a cow or a bull during a funeral was simply one thing. Those days there was nothing like a coffin. There was nothing like a coffin. So when Aluhya died, if Aluhya died and it was a baby, they slaughtered a goat or a sheep. If it is an adult, they slaughtered. If it is a man, they slaughtered a bull. If it is a woman, they slaughtered a cow. Now, why do they do that? There were no coffins, so someone would be wrapped into the animal skin, and the meat would be eaten, not because it is food or anything. It is because once an animal has no skin, then the meat just becomes a byproduct. Why was it that a bull was for men and a cow for female? Obvious reason. And what used to happen is that, and you see, if the bull to be slaughtered in a Luhya tradition was to, we used to have castrated bulls. We used to have castrated bulls, which were good for farming. You'd find that it is not that one which is. And again, it would be as good as possible the animal be fat and whatever to show health and wealth. It so happened that among Luhyas, a person of my age would keep a bull. That bull, if a cattle herder even beats up that bull, he really faced problems, because the old man would be saying, that one will accompany me on the day I die. So, as I've said, the Luhya tradition, the skin, the animals were killed for the skin. The animals were killed for the skin, which acted as a coffin. Now we move to Luo. There's a time I used to have a video camera before the advent of this equipment like mobile phone and whatever. Before everybody now has, in case anything happening, people film the thing with their phones, with their tablets, and so on. Before the advent of such equipment, there's a time when you really, if you had a video camera, you'd be a VIP. Now those days, when if you had a video camera, you are a VIP. Those days, I attended very many funeral in different places, mostly Luhya and Luo. What I understood in Luo land, and which I appreciate, because if you look at the Luo tradition, even no tradition is better than the other if you understand. Like the Luhya, we have said, the bull or the cow is meant for a coffin. So that is the genesis of that slaughtering that place. And then that is Luhya. But when it comes to Luo, a funeral literally, Luo funeral literally means celebrating one's life. Celebrating one's life. I just say in that one sentence, celebrating one's life. This is the day when we have Kenyatta Day, Moi Day, and whatever. Now, that is the day when it will be set aside. So, JI-TENGE Day. So, according to the Luo tradition, this is a day to honor, respect, feast on behalf of the dead person. A person of my age, a Luo, would be telling his kids, especially the sons, that I would feel very much unhappy when during my funeral or during the celebration of my life, people come and leave alone people coming and going away without eating. No. People should come and eat to their satisfaction because they are celebrating my life. So, so I remember when I used to visit those funerals and whatever, you'd find after 5 minutes, somebody else comes. Ichiemo. Another one comes. Ichiemo. Ichiemo. Meaning, have you eaten? So according to Luo rites, and which and I can tell you, it was very beautiful whenever I used to visit that, is that it was a celebration of the departed person. That is why we even say in some African languages that harusi yake ya mwisho, harusi yake ya mwisho. So, sorry, I've got gas. Harusi yake ya mwisho itakuwa hivi na hivi. So the Luo, the feasting and the Luo is that when you are born and you grew up and whatever, you are inducted in that belief that you are celebrating so and so. You set aside a day in his or her memory. That is with the Luo. Now, finally, let us talk about Kikuyu. And when you talk about Kikuyu, you'll find that they didn't take their cattle, not because Nyeri is far from Bondo, no. You see, such you can even hire a lorry na unaweka ng'ombe kutoka all that way. Or you can even go to a market in Kisumu or somewhere nearby. You buy as many cows and bulls as you want and then take it there. So it is not a question of what, because both ways the Kikuyus could afford. If it meant having a lorry with cows from Nyeri to Bondo, or even going to Kisumu and buying cows, they would do it. But according to Kikuyu, let me tell you, and I first noticed when my mother died. The Kikuyus do not slaughter an animal, do not shed blood of an animal when somebody is dead. No, they don't. That one, over their dead body, they cannot take a knife and slaughter a bull or a cow in honor of the dead person. Actually, in a funeral among the Kikuyus, there's a lot of meat which is required. They go and buy it on the butchery. But getting an animal and then taking out a knife and slaughtering, that is an abomination among the Kikuyu. So kindly understand that the Kikuyus did not take their cows, because according to the Kikuyu tradition, you do not slaughter an animal during a funeral. They have already shed blood by this person dying. So according to them, they cannot shed other blood because of the person who has died. That is the Kikuyu. So you find that, and you know the Odinga family and whatever, they understand and they do whatever. They understand, they appreciate that the Kikuyus have come, and it is against their tradition to slaughter an animal. These are the following times when a Kikuyu is allowed to slaughter an animal in the home. You see, when a child is born, they slaughter something like a goat because of two things. One, the meat is supposed to be used as food to feed the lady who has just delivered. When the lady who has just delivered has got to be properly fed from that animal meat. So sisi wengine tukikulia hapo, we are just taking the advantage. That is now the first time. And then there is the second time, things such circumcision, they use it that. And circumcision, according to Kikuyu, a boy is now entering adulthood, so he's being born into a man. So it is something to celebrate coming of life. Oh yeah, that is the word I was looking for. They are celebrating the coming of life, but they shed blood of animals with the coming of life. With the coming of life, where somebody is now a human being because he or she was not born, or this is a reason that a child has now become a man. That is why it is done. So it is against the Kikuyu tradition. It is an abomination to slaughter animals during the funeral. Somebody just pointed that out. I had not even noticed it, but I felt I have to share it with other younger Kenyans who, of course, many have not noticed it, but after replaying the videos, you may find that it is true that that is what had happened. God bless you and continue watching this channel for better information.